Hi, I'm Dane Anderson, factory crisp rider, and this is my bike check. Alright, so I ride a crisp XXXL CBR03. This is the candy blue colour, super nice finish. 23-inch top tube for myself. This is the longest bike I've actually had the pleasure of riding, so it was very exciting to get onto something that actually fits my tall stature. Starting at the front, we have the Mac G1 Pro grips. These have been out for a little while now. They're actually probably one of the better grips that I've used. The G1s, the initial ones with the collar, was such a nice grip. They wore in nicely. They've got a nice little rib here on either side, so you can wrap your hands around on the gate start, so it gives you a really good position to know your wrists are forward. Solid, and they last a long time. Coming down to the handlebars, these are a custom made set of handlebars out of 4130 chromo, made by Trevor Webber at BMX 50, and they're called the Solar bars, and they're obviously under the Dane Design brand as well. They are 29.5 inches wide, 8.5 I think tall, and the back sweep is 5 degrees with 2 degrees up sweep, so they're quite a flat handlebar. The stem, which you can't see, it's just over here. I've actually dropped down due to the longer size of the frame, dropped down to a 53mm stem. It's my own Dane Design front load stem, and that's got Pro Bolt Australia titanium bolts in it to keep it nice and light. Down to the forks, the Yes Reach forks. And that is accompanied by some Dane Design titanium headset spacers. Come down to the front wheel. This is where it really gets interesting. I run a mullet setup on this bike, so we've got an OS20 front wheel laced to a Chris King hub and an Alienation rim, Tioga tyre at the front. As you could probably see at the very top of the crown, we don't have a whole great deal of room to move, but that's just to make sure that the front of the bike's brought down to replicate standard geometry. Moving on to the cranks, run the 180mm Shimano DXR cranks with a Shimano bottom bracket, a Renan 44 tooth chainring, and the very hard to find and discontinued Fun Viper Soul Jam pedals, just for tracks like BSX. Race day I utilise Shimano 105 road pedals and road cleats. A chain, I run a KMC e-bike chain. They're really strong, and they don't stretch too much, which is really good. Seating, I've got the box echelon. I've modified that to 1 inch of its life. It basically only has about this much seat post in there to keep the weight down, an alias seat clamp. Braking is done by my own Dane Design brakes. They are a non-production model, so they're kind of rare, I guess, but they stop. They're super lightweight, and we might revisit that at some point in time and release them under the Dane brand again. Come to the back wheel, we have a Alienation Malice tubeless setup. I was running an IRC tubeless tyre and a tubeless setup, but when Dane Design components became stockist for Tubolito, I went down the path of using a Tubolito tube. So I've got a power block on the back at the moment, a Tubolito tube, and a Chris King rear hub with a 16 tooth cog. Holding it all together there are a set of Dane Design V2 chain tensioners, and they're custom painted in Cerakote and black inlays into the details. So the rear wheel being a 20-inch, and obviously the front being an OS20, it provides incredible stability, and it hasn't sacrificed the acceleration from what a full OS20 setup does. Obviously I've had to make sure that all the geometry up front is as close to a standard 20-inch as possible. Obviously with the bigger front wheel, it altered it quite a lot, so hence why I went down the path of the custom bars, having a front load stem to drop the front, and the such short distance between the tyre and the bottom of the fork crown to make sure that everything is as close as possible. So I think I only sacrificed 3.25 degree off the head tube, which I'm quite happy with. Other than that, that's my bike check. Thanks for joining in.